Hello and welcome to Soft Step English. I'm Nora.
And I'm Ethan, trying to sound relaxed, even though I almost dropped my coffee about 30 seconds ago.
Which is very on theme, because today we are talking about how to stay positive and calm under pressure.
A serious topic, a useful topic, also a topic that usually arrives exactly when you do not want it.
Yes, pressure has terrible timing. It shows up before exams, before deadlines, before difficult conversations, and sometimes in those strange moments when five small problems suddenly become one large problem.
That is such a painful sentence because it is true.
So here is our quick opening question for you. What happens first when pressure hits you? Do your shoulders get tight? Does your breathing get short? Does your mind start shouting, one mistake and everything is over?
Or do you become very busy in a fake way? Opening 3 tabs, checking your phone, reading the same note again and again, but not really doing the thing.
If that sounds like you, stay with us. In this episode, we are going to look at pressure in a practical way. We will talk about what pressure does to the mind, how the body can help first, how self-talk can either support you or attack you, why the next small step matters, and how to build what I would call practical calm.
And later we have a slow word tour, so you can repeat useful expressions with us and actually keep them.
This episode is around B1 to B2 level, so some parts may sound a little richer, but we will keep the key ideas clear as we go.
And if you miss a few words, stay with us. You can always come back later and catch more on the second listen. If you enjoy learning English through real-life topics, you can follow or subscribe to Soft Step English and come back for the next one.
And tell us in the comments, where do you feel pressure most often? At work, at school, at home, in social situations, or maybe before you send one message that somehow feels too important?
I want to read those comments because pressure has many costumes.
It really does. So let's begin with the first big idea. Many people think calmness is a personality trait. A trait is a natural part of your character. They think some people are just born steady and other people are born emotional.
Like, oh, that person is naturally cool, and I am naturally a disaster.
Exactly. But that idea is not very helpful. Calmness and positivity are usually not gifts. They are skills. A skill is something you can practice. So this is not really a story about being lucky. It is a story about learning.
I like that already, because if it is a skill, then there is hope for the rest of us.
Yes. And the next point is just as important. Being positive under pressure does not mean pretending everything is easy. And being calm does not mean feeling nothing.
That is a big one.
Very big. A calm person can still feel stress. A positive person can still notice danger or risk. The difference is not that they feel nothing. The difference is that they do not let stress control every thought and every action.
So they are not saying, wow, this is wonderful. I love deadlines. I love conflict. I love chaos.
No, that would be fantasy. Useful positivity starts with reality. It says, this is difficult, but I can still respond well. Another way to say it is this, there is a problem, but I am still able to do the next useful thing.
That sounds much stronger than fake smiling.
It is stronger. And there's another smart point here. Pressure is not always a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes pressure means something matters.
Right, an exam matters, a patient matters, a family problem matters, a job interview matters.
Exactly. If we treat all pressure like an enemy, we start fighting our own situation. But if we learn to work with pressure, we become steadier inside it.
Not perfectly peaceful, just more useful.
Yes. The goal is not perfect peace. The goal is steady action.
Steady is a great word here. It means stable, not wild, not all over the place.
Well said. And one useful way to look at this is through 4 areas: the body, attention, self-talk, and expectations. If we take care of these 4 areas, pressure may still feel uncomfortable, but it becomes more manageable.
Manageable means easier to deal with, not magic, just less chaos.
Exactly. So let's go step by step. First, what does pressure do to the mind? Under stress, attention becomes narrow. Narrow means not wide. The brain starts searching for danger.
Which sounds useful in a real emergency.
Yes, in a real emergency that can help. But in normal life, it often creates problems. We stop seeing the full picture. We focus on one negative email, one mistake in a presentation, one unhappy face in a meeting, one future where everything fails.
The mind becomes dramatic very quickly.
It does. Pressure often tells a dramatic story. It says things like, this moment will decide everything, or one mistake means disaster.
And in the moment, that dramatic story feels very convincing.
It does because the body is already activated. The heart beats faster. Breathing becomes shallow. Shallow breathing means quick, short breathing. The shoulders become tight. The mind begins to race.
Then we make the second mistake. We believe every thought that arrives in that state.
Yes, that is such an important line. A student forgets one point and thinks, I am going to fail. A manager gets one hard question and thinks, the whole meeting is ruined. A player makes one bad pass and thinks, I am terrible today.
One event becomes a whole identity statement.
Exactly. An identity statement is when you turn one moment into a sentence about who you are. Not, I made one mistake. But I am a failure, that is much heavier.
And usually not true.
Usually not true at all. So useful positivity begins with reality, not fantasy. Not everything will be perfect. Not there is no problem. Just this. There is difficulty here and I can still choose my response.
That sentence alone is worth keeping.
And now we come to one of the most practical parts of this conversation. If you want to return to a calmer state, start with the body.
I think people do the opposite. They try to solve pressure by thinking harder.
Yes. And a stressed mind sitting inside a stressed body often creates even more stress. If your jaw is tight, your muscles are ready to fight, and your breath is short, your thoughts will often copy that pattern.
So the fastest path is sometimes physical, not intellectual.
Exactly, and the good news is that this does not require a special room, a long ritual, or 30 free minutes. It can happen in 1 minute. Slow the breath down. Make the exhale a little longer than the inhale. Exhale means breathing out. Inhale means breathing in.
Drop the shoulders, relax the face, put both feet on the floor.
Yes. If possible, stand up and walk a little. Drink some water. These actions seem simple, maybe even too simple, but they send an important message to the nervous system.
The nervous system is the body system that helps control stress, reactions, and energy.
Exactly. And the message is this: there is difficulty here, but there is not immediate danger. When the body receives that message, the mind often becomes more reasonable.
I like that word reasonable, not perfect, just less dramatic, more clear.
Let's make this concrete. Imagine a woman before a job interview. 10 minutes before it starts, her hands are cold and her thoughts are jumping everywhere. She wants to read her notes again and again.
I know that move. The panic review.
Yes, the panic review. But one more page of notes may not help much at that moment. A better move is to close the notebook, breathe slowly for 1 minute, straighten the posture, and remember one simple goal: answer clearly, listen carefully, stay present.
Stay present is a useful phrase. It means keep your attention here, not in 10 future disasters.
Exactly. She may still feel nervous, but now the nervousness is not in control.
The feeling is there, but it is not the boss.
Perfectly said. And there is a family example too. Imagine a father coming home after a hard day, and immediately he hears that his child has a problem at school. If he reacts at the same speed as his stress, the conversation may become sharp and unhelpful.
Sharp means hard, maybe a little angry, not gentle.
Yes, but if he pauses first, washes his face, drinks water, takes 3 slower breaths, then he creates a small space between feeling and reaction.
And inside that small space, better choices can happen.
Exactly. After the body, the next area is self-talk. Under pressure, many people speak to themselves in ways they would never use with a friend.
Oh, this one hurts. Do not mess this up. Why are you always like this? If you fail here, everyone will see you are not good enough.
Yes, harsh, vague, and scary. It sounds serious, but it usually creates fear, shame, and confusion. It is not useful guidance. It is mental noise.
So what is better self-talk?
Better self-talk is direct, calm and specific. Instead of saying, do not panic, say, slow down. Instead of, I cannot fail, say, do the next part well. Instead of, everything depends on this, say, this matters. But it is one moment in a longer life.
That last one really opens the window a little.
Yes, it gives space. And the goal is not to repeat empty, happy phrases like a machine. The goal is to give the mind instructions it can actually use.
Instructions, not decoration.
Exactly. Athletes are a good example here. A tennis player loses a point. The best players do not give themselves a long emotional speech. They reset quickly. They take a breath, focus, and return to one clear intention for the next point.
They do not need perfect confidence. They need a working mindset.
Beautiful phrase. A working mindset means a mental state that helps you function, even if you do not feel amazing.
Because real life usually does not give us the luxury of waiting until we feel perfect.
That is true. And this leads to another useful skill: make the moment smaller.
I love that line.
Pressure becomes heavier when the mind tries to carry the whole future at once. During an exam, a student is not only thinking about one question. Suddenly, the mind is thinking about the final score, university plans, family expectations, friends, the future, everything.
The mind loves building a giant staircase and then asking us to carry all of it at the same time.
Exactly. But humans usually do better when they return to the next concrete step. Concrete means clear and specific, not the whole staircase, just the next step.
What is the next sentence to write? What is the next call to make? What is the next answer to give?
Yes, pressure often becomes manageable when it becomes smaller. Take a university student writing a final paper. If she thinks, I must write an excellent paper today, she may freeze. But if she changes the goal to, I will write one honest paragraph in the next 20 minutes, action returns.
And then something important happens. She feels better after she starts.
Yes. Often, action creates emotional stability more than emotional stability creates action.
Let's say that slowly because it is excellent.
Action creates emotional stability more often than emotional stability creates action.
So maybe we should not always wait to feel calm before we begin.
Exactly. In many situations, calm comes from beginning well. One useful step gives the mind evidence. Evidence means proof. It shows, I am not powerless. I can do something.
A small completed action can calm you more than a huge promise.
Very much so. Now let's talk about attention. Under pressure, it is easy to give all our attention to what we cannot control.
Every opinion, every delay, every market change, every traffic jam, every exam question, every reaction from another person.
Yes, and if we keep staring at those things, helplessness grows. Helplessness is the feeling that nothing you do will matter. So the more useful question is, what can I influence right now?
Influence is slightly softer than control. It means affect, shape, guide, improve a little.
Exactly. If your flight is delayed, you cannot control the weather or the airline system. But you can control how you use the waiting time, how you speak to staff, whether you inform the person meeting you, and whether you save your energy for the next decision.
Instead of spending all of it on repeated anger.
Right. In a difficult work meeting, you cannot control every face in the room, but you can listen carefully, answer honestly, slow your speech, and turn one criticism into one useful next step.
That is active positivity, not smiling at the ceiling and hoping the universe helps.
Yes, real positivity is active. It accepts difficulty and still searches for a constructive move. Constructive means helpful, useful, building something better.
Calmness is not weakness either.
Yes, and I am glad you brought that up. Some people think calm means slow, detached, or passive. But calm people are often more effective because they waste less energy. They do not make three unnecessary moves when one careful move is enough.
In a crisis, calm is not nothing. Calm is efficient.
Exactly. And another important piece is relationships. Pressure feels heavier when we think we must carry it alone.
A lot of people go silent under stress because they do not want to look weak.
Yes, but silence can make pressure grow in secret. Sometimes a short conversation with the right person restores perspective.
Perspective is how you see the situation, a wider, healthier view.
Exactly. Take a young teacher in her first year. She has too much marking, difficult students, and a meeting with parents coming soon. If she keeps all that pressure inside, she may start telling herself she's failing.
But if she talks to a more experienced teacher, she may hear something very human. This is hard, yes, but this is also normal.
And that changes everything. Maybe the advice is practical. Make fewer comments, but clearer ones. Repeat one rule consistently. Do not try to solve every classroom problem in one day.
And suddenly the problem feels less like a personal weakness and more like a real job that can be learned.
Exactly. There is another point people often forget. Environment matters.
Oh, yes, the outside world affects the inside world.
Very much. If your phone is full of alerts, your desk is chaotic, and your schedule has no space for mistakes, pressure will hit harder.
So, calmness is not only an inner quality, it is also practical preparation.
Yes, laying out clothes before an important morning, arriving early, keeping documents in one place, giving yourself 10 extra minutes for travel. These things do not guarantee peace, but they reduce avoidable stress.
Avoidable is a great word. Stress will come anyway. No need to invite extra stress for fun.
Exactly. And now let's look at some common failure patterns, because these are very useful to notice. The first mistake is trying to remove pressure completely.
That goal sounds nice, but it is not real.
It is not. Pressure is part of adult life. If we believe we should never feel pressure, we create a second problem. Now we are stressed about being stressed.
Which is honestly a terrible deal.
Yes. A better goal is to become more skillful inside pressure. The second mistake is demanding perfect emotional control. Some people think, if I were truly calm, I would feel nothing.
But human beings are not machines.
Exactly. Even very capable people feel fear, doubt, and tension before difficult moments. The difference is that they know those feelings can be present without becoming the boss.
The third mistake is confusing urgency with importance.
Yes, under pressure, the loudest thing can feel like the most important thing. A ringing phone feels urgent. A message feels urgent. A strong voice feels urgent. But the most important action may be quieter.
Like checking the facts, fixing one key error, taking 5 minutes to organize the next hour.
Exactly. Calmness helps us separate noise from priority. And there is another trap, emotional prediction.
That is when the mind starts announcing the future in a very dramatic voice.
Yes, sentences like, I will never recover from this. If this goes badly, my confidence will be destroyed. One mistake will stay in people's minds forever.
Usually false, very loud, very confident. Usually false.
Exactly. Life moves, people forget, new chances appear. Even serious setbacks are rarely the whole story of a life. When we remember that, the present moment stays important, but it does not become absolute.
Absolute here means total, final, everything.
Yes. And then there is one more trap, using positivity as a mask.
The too quick, it's fine.
Exactly. If we say it's fine before we have honestly faced disappointment, anger, or fear, that feeling often returns later in another form. Maybe tiredness, sharp reactions, avoidance, or loss of motivation.
So healthy positivity has room for honesty.
Yes, it can say, I am disappointed. This is harder than I expected. And then still add, now let me decide what to do next.
That feels mature, not dramatic, not fake.
Very mature, and it ends in a practical direction. If calmness under pressure is a skill, then it can be trained before the next hard moment arrives.
Which means the training does not only happen during the crisis.
Exactly. Daily habits matter. Sleep matters. Movement matters. Food, rest, margin in the schedule, all of that matters. If a person is exhausted all the time, there is less space between feeling and reaction.
A rushed life creates a rushed mind.
Beautifully put. Mental practice also helps. Before a difficult event, you can imagine the pressure point clearly and decide in advance how you want to respond.
Like if I forget one point in my presentation, I will pause, breathe, check the outline, and continue.
Yes. Or if someone speaks sharply in a family conversation, I will lower my voice, slow my pace, and return to the main issue. When you pre-decide your response, you save energy in the real moment.
because you are not inventing your whole strategy while your heart is racing.
Exactly. And after the pressure passes, reflection helps too. Instead of asking, was I perfect? Ask, what helped me stay steady? Where did I lose control? And what can I prepare better next time?
That turns pressure into training.
Yes, without reflection, pressure only feels painful. With reflection, pressure becomes information.
And that gives us the ending idea here, which I really like. Staying positive and calm under pressure is less about personality and more about a repeatable process.
Notice the body. Slow the breath. Make the moment smaller. Use better self-talk. Focus on what you can influence. Ask for perspective. Prepare the environment. Accept some discomfort. Then take the next useful step.
That will not remove deadlines, criticism, uncertainty, or loss.
No, but it can change the way you meet those things. Instead of being thrown around by every difficult moment, you become steadier. Not a person with no stress, but a person who can carry stress without losing direction.
And that is a very strong kind of positivity. Quiet, practical, not flashy.
Exactly. And this feels like the perfect moment for our word tour.
Yes. Slow shoulders, slower voice. It is word tour time.
In this part, we revisit useful expressions from today. Please say them with us. Take your time. Slow English is good English.
And if you are walking outside and people hear you repeating phrases with us, honestly, that is between you and your brave learning journey.
Our first expression is under pressure.
Say it with us. Under pressure.
One more time, slowly, under pressure.
This means in a stressful situation when a lot feels important, urgent, or difficult.
Example, I speak too fast when I am under pressure.
Good. Next expression, steady action.
Repeat after us. Steady action.
Steady action means calm, useful movement. Not frozen, not wild, just stable and clear.
Example, in a difficult meeting, steady action is listening, thinking, and answering one point at a time.
Our next one is full picture.
Say it with us. Full picture.
The full picture means the whole situation, not only one small part.
Example, pressure made me focus on one mistake, but I forgot the full picture.
Very nice. Next expression, identity statement.
Slowly, identity statement.
This is when you turn one event into a sentence about who you are.
Example, I made one mistake is a fact. I am a failure is an identity statement.
That is such an important difference.
It is. Now let's do nervous system.
Repeat after us. Nervous system.
The nervous system is the body system that helps control stress and reaction.
Example, a longer exhale can help calm the nervous system.
Very good. Next phrase, stay present.
Say it with us. Stay present.
Stay present means keep your attention here in this moment, instead of running into imagined future problems.
Example, before the interview, I told myself, stay present, listen carefully, answer clearly.
Beautiful. Next, self-talk.
Self-talk.
One more time. Self-talk.
Self-talk means the way you speak to yourself in your mind.
Example, under pressure, negative self-talk can make the situation heavier.
So we change it. Slow down. Do the next part well. Good.
Next phrase, working mindset.
Repeat after us. Working mindset.
A working mindset is not perfect confidence. It is a mental state that helps you function and continue.
Example, I was nervous, but I had a working mindset, so I kept going.
Excellent. Next one, next concrete step.
Say it slowly. Next concrete step.
This means the next clear, real action, not the whole giant future.
Example, do not think about the whole project. Think about the next concrete step.
Very useful. Now let's do influence.
What can I influence? Say that with us. What can I influence?
Influence means affect or shape in some way, even if you cannot control everything.
Example, I cannot control the delay, but I can influence what I do at the waiting time.
Good. One more, perspective.
Perspective.
Say it again. Perspective.
Perspective means a wider, healthier way of seeing the situation.
Example, after talking to my friend, I got some perspective and felt calmer.
I want one bonus phrase.
Go on.
Practical calm.
Yes, let's keep that one. Say it with us. Practical calm.
Practical calm is not perfect peace. It is calm you can actually use in real life.
Example, I still felt nervous, but I found practical calm and took the next step.
Very nice. If you want, pause this episode and repeat those phrases again. Slowly is fine. Repetition is good. Your brain likes it more than your ego does.
And now, before we go, here is one small piece of homework. The next time you feel pressure, do not ask, how do I make this feeling disappear? Ask, what is my next useful step?
And maybe also ask, what is my body doing right now? Because sometimes your shoulders know the truth before your mind does.
Tell us in the comments which idea from today you want to practice first. Slower breathing, better self-talk, making the moment smaller, asking for perspective, or something else from the episode.
And if someone in your life is in exam season, deadline season, interview season, or a difficult family conversation, you can share this episode with them.
If you like learner-friendly English conversations like this one, you can follow or subscribe to Soft Step English and come back for the next episode.
We do. They are thoughtful, honest, and sometimes very funny.
Thank you for spending this time with us.
Take care of your mind, take care of your breath, and be kind to yourself when life gets loud.
I'm Nora.
And I'm Ethan.
We'll see you next time on Soft Step English.
Keep going. Your English grows one clear, steady step at a time, and there is always more waiting for you.